Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Quake Pro League. Week 10 of Stage 4. It's all been building up to this moment, and we have finally made it here. And I've got a special guest joining me for today's show. We've been reunited finally, lost lovers, but we're back together. How you doing, Dan?
It's only taken 10 weeks to be back in the show with you. Are you wearing a shirt? Looks like you're downright naked from here. Oh no,
it's more. Yeah, I've been wearing the Coogie sweaters. I've been going for a sweater vibe for the past couple of weeks.
It's like
I've been on
40
this season.
degrees outside, and you're wearing a sweater.
Yeah, I'm just really cool though, aren't I?
Fair, I'll give you that.
Oh mate, how you been though? We're back together finally. Obviously, it's been some time since we've actually been commentating through, but we've made it to this point. It's the end of the season, Dan. The last one, obviously, before QuakeCon at home kicks off. You excited?
Yeah, man, always. It's gone really quick this stage, I think. And it feels like a few weeks ago when we were kind of chilling and doing the Stage 3 finals, we're already going into the Quake World Championship finals where not a lot has changed in terms of the leaderboards, but we've definitely seen some progression from some of the players we might not have expected to jump all the way up. So it's kind of framing up to be probably the best final yet. And considering the caliber of the last one, that's a pretty good place to be.
No, yeah, you are absolutely right. The games were ridiculous, obviously, at the last finals. So going into the World Championships, we're hoping it'll be even better. But we've still got to decide seeding. That is the important talking point about the day, of course, to see if any movement is going to happen in those standings. So let's have a look at the games that are coming up and see if there is any room for some flexibility over the course of the day, Dan. Classic format, of course. We'll have our 8 games. We'll burn our way through and we'll see how exciting they're going to be. What sticks out to you here with our first 4?
They're all, again, matchups of people in fairly similar positions. Obviously, Wenger Spart1e is quite a radical difference in the placements, but obviously Sparty coming in a little bit later in the stages. And they've been doing reasonably well. He's somebody that's gone very much up and down, and I found has not performed as well as he wants to, but he does take his series right to the edge, and I think he's got it in him to overturn a map on Wenger, and I'm really interested to see where Wenger's at the moment in terms of his current form. Further down the list, not a real lot of manoeuvring for Effortless or Genius in terms of the placements. They're obviously quite down there and will be battling out in the Quake World Championship and relegation, but it's definitely really good for them to get some momentum moving into that finals. I think that's going to be very important for a lot of players. You want to go in on a high, and particularly when you're challenging people in and around you in terms of the placements, that would definitely give you that boost of confidence. And similarly goes for vengeuR and dewey. Dewey's been pretty stable in the mid-ground, and vengeuR's obviously not done as well as he wants to, but it's good to still see him in the league. And I'm really interested to see Base and CNZ quite similar in play styles. I'm thinking all the way back in Poland now. CNZ unfortunate to go out, and Base has just gone on leaps and bounds since then. So let's see what CNZ can do today.
Yeah, some names that can definitely pack a punch. It's looking good in terms of our first 4, but these are the last 4 games of the night. This is what we'll be closing it out on, where all the juice truly is in today, I must say, Dan. Specifically, I'm looking at games 6 and 7. I've got my eye on game 7 as well. That's the one that's stealing my heart.
I think so. For both of them, they're just such huge clashes, and for both of them, for me, like Tox and Cooler, they are legendary names, but they both have something to prove. They can't rest on their laurels of who they are, and you can see by their placements, they both just just dropped dramatically over stage 4. So they have a lot to prove, and they're going up against 2 of the most formidable players in the world. So if they can even get maps for me today, that's quite a big shout.
That will definitely be a hard-fought fight. I'm looking forward to it. I think the day is going to be juicy as a whole. And obviously, in terms of the grand scheme of things, the reason why it is important once we get into those later stages is because there is a little bit of wiggle room for you to attempt to leapfrog, see if you can get slightly further ahead. And we can telegraph that. We can move on into the standings and give you a visual representation of how it's looking for all the viewers at home, of course, Dan. But I want to see main talking points. Based off the game we've seen then, is there any room for movement that you see here today, and who is potentially going to find themselves in a better spot at the end of the day, Dan?
Cooler can definitely jump up a few places. You can see how tight it is in and around there. Apart from that, I think everything else is more or less set in stone. I don't see Sparty doing enough to get points out of Wenger to move anywhere. Similarly, CNZ is in a decent spot, and depending on the Tox game, he might be able to jump up, but yeah, I don't think there's going to be too much shuffling today. As I said, I think Cooler's probably the one that you might see jumping up the leaderboard just a little bit. Maybe Razy moving above Cypher if Cypher drops some maps. So otherwise, I think you can see the points are pretty fixed. Raph as well has just got ridiculous amount of points.
He's got too many points, mate. It's like that meme just with the guy holding all the lemons. You just can't hold them all.
I think John's pretty glad the stage is ending, because if he ends on 1,000 points, I don't think he can fit in the graphic anymore.
Yeah, we'd probably spill over.
Just
We'd
zero,
have just an
zero,
extra
zero.
O off the side. Oh, mate. Yeah, luckily, it's not going to be going down that way. Of course, he will have his final game of the season at the end of the show, but that is coming up at the end. For now, let's have a look at the present, of course, Dan. As our opening matchup, we'll have our eyes set towards, of course, is Wenger taking on Spart1e. Two very flamboyant players that are exciting to watch, especially Wenger in my mind. It's been so sick to see his growth. Even if we talk back from the start of Quake Pro League, right? Obviously, when we came in, his placements have been better every event. Obviously, back when we were in Poland as well, we got to speak to him after he eventually got knocked out of the tournament, and he was hungry. You could see he was happy, but he wanted more. He never seems content, and that's really the spirit that you need to progress.
100%. Like, he's so committed to progressing, and he's come on, as you say, leaps and bounds. Like, he was doing so well even back in stage 1, stage 2, and ever since then he just continued to mature. And I've obviously had the fortune to cast with him recently and picked his brains about a lot of things, and he's definitely not entirely happy with a lot of his game, and sees huge areas of improvement, and that's pretty scary when you think about how well he's done already. So sitting quite nicely in the upper ends of the leaderboard, but he's somebody that wants to go a step further than top 4, which has been his previous 2 placements.
Well, what was that like? Do you have fun over on challenges with Wenger? Was it a good time, Dan?
It was difficult to understand. He was very Italian, but I think it was really fun. It was good to see the challenges as well.
Yeah, it was awesome stuff. Great to see the heart of the competition, of course. But let's have a look at the man that's the life of the party. I'm talking about Sparty, the opponent here in the opening series of the night. Sparty, he's been there, he's done it. He's got 15 of the t-shirt down. This man has done absolutely everything.
He has, but he hasn't done it consistently, and that's what has plagued him from day one in Sparty's career. And he's somebody, as you rightly said, he's got the flash, he's got the party spirit, just not the consistency. You can see from his highlights, he's got some of the best frags in the game, but then he needs to be able to then pull that together in one single package for a whole event, and that's where we fall down. I don't think I have the confidence he can do that consistently on the biggest stage, even though he has the skill to do it. It's all the mental game with Sparty. And that's why he's so scary, I think, as an opponent. Nobody wants to play him. Even if he is sitting down in 16th in the leaderboard, who wants to come up against someone that can just absolutely destroy you on his day? So I think Wenger needs to watch out. Going into the finals, people need to watch out if they come against Sparty, because he can turn people over.
Oh, he definitely can. He's by no means someone that you need to just, be sleeping on. A, because it would be very uncomfortable, I'd imagine, but B, also because he is a damn good player, Dan. He's very effective when it comes to what he can do inside of the server, right? We've seen the hype in the past. We know how well Sparty can perform. And he's taken a couple of upsets. Even into this season, he's had the odd game where he does show up and he looks damn good. So potentially, we could have an exciting one here. With it being the final week of the season as well here before we go into, the Quake World Championships, if you were going to step up and really just leave something etched into the history books, tonight would be the time to do it as well.
Yeah, 100%. There's nothing worse than going off the back of a 3-0 loss. So getting a few maps against Wenger, even if it's a single map for Sparty, I think that's a big stride in his development and confidence, because Wenger, as we rightly said, is somebody who just wins don't come easy against him. Even though he is relatively young and experienced relative to people like Sparty, he's so mature in the way he plays. So yeah, if Sparty can get a map, I think that's a great first step for him moving into the championships.
Well, let's have a look if the veto will potentially aid him on his journeys. We do have the picks and bans for the opening series here. I'm going to throw it at you hard on this one, Dan. Based off of this, what are you looking at? How's it tantalising you? Do you think it gives an edge?
Not a huge edge. I think across the board is fairly standard picks. A lot of mirror matchups. Obviously, Blood Covenant, we do have a Nyx against a Ranger, but there's not a huge difference in terms of the utility of either one to make that stand out to me. And they're very strong picks. I think the biggest difference is going to be on Molten. The Strog against Visor. Visor can get exploited ever so slightly due to the speed of the Strog. Piercing Sight is very useful on that map, but the way Wenger will play adds some real tempo on that. So Sparty might struggle in that, but the rest of it, I think it's fairly standard, and I wouldn't put anything down to the picks in terms of why someone would or lose on this kind of matchup.
No, nothing too outrageous. I feel like Blood Covenant's going to open us up with a bit of a brawl. That'll definitely be a banger coming out. I'm expecting that fast-paced style of play from Wenger straight away on the Nyx, just being a nuisance maker and just really affecting the flow of the game. Keep, that could be quite fun as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's always exciting. Corrupted Keep games, honestly, I feel like have had some of the best Quake we've had throughout the season, Dan.
I love Corrupted Keep. It's such a good map. I think maps without a rail, just open up a huge amount more strategy options and are always an entertaining match. So it's definitely my pick of the series when I see it in there. And I've actually been really pleasantly surprised about the way Molten's developed and how entertaining it's been. I wasn't the biggest fan of the map when it first came out, but the way we've seen it develop in terms of the meta always leaves up a really, really spicy finish. And it usually ends up on the finishing map as well.
It does indeed. So hopefully Molten is going to be the bookends of the series that we all want coming off the back of that, especially with the Strog versus Visor. At this point, that's become sort of a clash of yin and yang clash, really. And it's just the speed as well. You give Wenger a champ like that, where he can just run away with things, go in just with crazy speed, you know it's going to be exhilarating.
Yeah, for sure. And looking to the first map, I think Spart1e definitely needs to keep the pressure on. He likes to play with tempo, and you can do that with Ranger. And if he's using the full, I spoke about this last time with Ryan quite a lot, is if you're going to use that, and with Wenger actually, if you're going to use the full skill set of the Ranger, that's when he becomes an extremely, really powerful pick. I think a lot of people just pick it for the orb and don't really progress beyond that using the passive or using the orb in the right way. So the skill ceiling of that champion is extremely high. And if Spart1e can keep pressure on Wenger, it might make his life a little bit more difficult, but Wenger's a master with Nyx as well.
Yeah, no, by no means is this going to be one to, you know, really just chalk up to it'll be over quickly. It could be quite a tight series. Spart1e, we know at times he will show up. He'll really give you a game. And I feel like it's the end of the season, right? Why not? Really come out there, absolutely play your heart out. Give us a game to remember, Dan. Going in onto a map like Covenant to start as well, there is potential.
Yeah, there's nothing to lose now for any of these guys. They're both safe, so be good to see some entertainment, some testing of strategy. I know Wenger's been toying with some ideas of how to refine his game. So this is the stage for us to really see where they're at in terms of their progression and what they're thinking about moving into the finals.
Did you get any inside scoop when you were there with Wenger? Obviously spending a nice amount of time with him doing challenges. Were you able to pick his brains a little bit, Dan?
Maybe I can't say. I don't know.
Oh,
yeah.
Has he got you under NDA?
No comment.
Oh my God. Right. Master of deflection, it seems. He's ready for that one. And we're ready for this one as we're going into the opening game of the night. Hope you're excited for this week 10, stage 4. This is it. The last week of competition before we make it all the way to QuakeCon at home with the Quake World Championships. It's going to be beautiful. It's Wenger versus Spart1e, two absolutely beautiful men. Ready for a bout, Dan.
Ready for a battle indeed, as Wenger already has position up on the high ground, no rail to his name, but that's what Spart1e has. Spart1e doesn't have a rocket, so we're going to have a little bit of a standoff here as Wenger doesn't want to let that weapon go all too easily to the Swede.
He doesn't want to give it away and open it up too easily. We could have some contact coming around relatively soon, though. Spart1e on the hunt with a nail gun out, looking to try and make this a little bit deadly, potentially. Transitions back to the rail, but misses on the shot. Up the bounce pad as well. He's going to get tagged, and it will make him a little bit more supple going forward.
But nice rocket jump across to repositions the Mega, but Wenger's already across the map. So for Spart1e, he's going to be forced to back off and play a bit more quiet, but that's an aggressive push using the die rob up onto the high ground. Wenger luckily drops down, not taking all too much damage, but that rail is pretty big and will allow Spart1e just to listen and use audio cues to try and make sure he can keep pressure on. He doesn't want to let either item go for free. Sneaking round, he sees Wenger around the corner. Great first rocket. Wenger has got the Ghost Walk, living on the edge because he was railable, and manages to just get out as Spart1e does peek around the corner for a final round.
Spart1e repositioning once again, then heading over to try and gather up some time vials to get his dire roll back in play, as that will now come back up, and he's on the hunt. Predictive rocket coming through, nearly actually caught Wenger, but he caught himself, slows it down, doesn't jump in front of it and take that one like a speeding bullet, so he won't take too much damage. Near misses on the rail exchanges, it's not looking fantastic, and finally one of them will land, and Spart1e, much worse for well now, Dan. He's got to back off and try and keep himself alive.
Yeah, but I'm a big fan of the way Spart1e's opened the start of this map, because you have to be progressive and take slightly more risks against a Nyx than you might otherwise do against other champions, just because she has that utility and fallback of the Ghost Walk. So you need to make sure you keep pressure on and eliminate that ability. Try and force it out. You just can't let her get too stacked, otherwise she will be able to walk over you. Aggressive Ghost Walk coming out. Spart1e doesn't know. He thinks something up. Hits some great rockets to the dire orb combo. And that'll be the opening frag.
That was really nice. Great play. Obviously, Wenger going for the aggressive utilization of the Ghost Walk there. Tries to charge in, see if he can make a mockery out of Sparty. But no, he gets ground to a pulp. Perfect rockets, then transitions into the Dire Orb to shut him down. So he takes the first frag advantage and opens up the duel 1-0 as we're coming close towards 3 minutes in. But Wenger playing with the tempo. We know if he ever gets shoved on towards the back foot, he tries to really increase that speed to get himself back in the game. He's not the type of player to take a confidence knock.
No, he also knows he did quite a lot of damage in the previous engagement, even though he did go down. So has the initiative to capitalize upon that advantage and does so nicely. Picking up the Mega, can get across to the Heavy, might only be able to hit some damage on it as he's a little bit late. If Spart1e can get out scot-free, that's an amazing play by him. An aggressive Ghost Walk again. Spart1e definitely doesn't know about this, but backs off and gets hit by the rail. He's a little bit stuck because he's already used the orb. And it's very weak. Wenger knows his prey is on the run. Doesn't want to overcommit because that Ghost Walk is on cooldown.
You'd be left high and dry, up Struggle Street with no utility, but Sparty so low, taking a lot of damage from the flank as he gets pushed down by Wenger, coming through with the LG, and that one will be a shocker to take it back to 1-1, and he really is just initiating, ready for the fight now. The rails are coming through, and that is clean on the drop down. Wenger, 7-up Sparty, soup down, and he's not done yet. He's ready for another fight immediately off the draw.
Wenger is unrelenting, and this is what happens when you get on the front foot as a Nyx. You can just keep that pressure on. You're so quick around the map, particularly on Blood Covenant. You can just get from the mid-ground so easily, and that control becomes unrelenting with that pressure as well. And Sparty, once again, should be going down here and does quite easily. The orb nearly connects, but just dies in time. Wenger's a little bit hurt, but with Sparty, nothing to his name. No orb either. It's so difficult. And it is one of the issues with the Ranger. Become a little bit vulnerable to the general maneuverability of the Nyx without that orb up, and that's why you have to be very selective with how it's used. It might not seem on paper as a very powerful tool, but it really is at the highest level.
Wenger right now as well, you can see just every asset in his arsenal working wonders for him. He's hitting some sick rails, just dropping those 90s in every single encounter. The rockets were good as well with the predictives that we saw coming out previously, just being able to bounce Sparty around and smack him off the wall. Sparty forced to bail out at that point. Uses the Dire Orb for the reposition, does get away, but Wenger's just starting to soak up and really build himself a nice lead. Good nail jump up as well to replenish his rail, so he's got more to attempt to slay with. We reached the 5-minute mark, but that's finally one that he's actually going to miss.
And to your point, Sparty's actually doing a good job strategically. I mean, it's only 3-1 as well. When he's been on the front foot, it's been quite remarkable. But he's not hitting enough or anything. He's got 3 rails of 20, 15%. And that is a problem. A really, really big problem. Particularly when Wenger is playing this distance game so well. Catching Sparty here with the Ghost Walk, even though it wasn't aggressive. Sparty caught somewhat off guard. And you can see him trying to, again, take these slightly more riskier plays, but the execution's just not there.
No. When it comes to just being cutthroat and being able to go for the jugular, it's not quite working out just yet, and time is ticking away as well. 4 minutes left in the duel, so still plenty of time to fight with, but Sparty, he needs to get off the back foot and be able to shove back against Wenger. Wenger coming around to try and deny or at least do damage off the back of the pickup towards the Heavy, so it won't really add any extra sustenance back over towards Sparty. He gets the initial tag off with a rail, just pre-fire spam of rockets as well as he's backing up. So if he did turn around the corner towards Banana, he would have been slumped in the face by one of them, and it would have really knocked him down and slowed him down into the course of the game.
Yeah, Sparty's got under half of Wenger's damage, but once again, to his credit, it's only 3-1. So all he needs is a single frag, and Blood Covenant's actually a good map to follow up with the refrag, if you will, or the spawn frags. And this is good because Wenger's missed his shots this time, but catches Sparty with the lightning gun up at the top. Sparty forced to retreat with his tail between his legs, but they're both relatively low. Sparty, knowing this, does push aggressively for the Heavy, and Wenger smartly doesn't peek.
Oh, man.
Nice.
Oh, the ray is coming in as well. The back tap, as he will be slowed down, has to pick up the lights, but Wenger! Oh, man! With the rocket off, the rocket down, just bouncing him into one another as they'll chain them together. Sparty overcommits for the fight, and it doesn't work out well.
And this is one of the issues of Sparty, is that he does so well. It's just a lapse in judgment costs him so heavily. Missing out with the timing now. It's too aggressive onto this. Doesn't do anywhere near enough damage. Just not clinical.
Oh, I'll tell you what is clinical right now. The Surgeon of Wenger. The Scalpel is out to play, and it's in the matter of the LG! What? He stayed alive, and he's been able to take him down and slain Spart1e once again. 5 frags ahead now as we're rapidly approaching 8 minutes. Wenger, oh man, has he come online into this matchup?
He has, but he's just been ever so more clinical. And you can spot desperation from Sparty, but that shotgun to the face will end Nyx. That is a lifeline. 4 minutes to go. It's going to be so tough if Sparty wants to get back into this game. He's going to have to keep that tempo up, and all Wenger needs to do is play strong position. He played the distance game. He knows his opponent doesn't have a rail, so that's one of the strengths he can try and capitalize on as well. But instead, he's just going to run, and he's already got the Ghost Walk up, so Sparty's got to do a good job if he's going to catch Wenger here and kill him twice effectively. Good rockets as well. That's what he do. He's got this shotgun, and that's about it. That's not enough.
And you've got to give props to Wenger for the rocket usage throughout this one as well. 1,000 damage done with it. He's picked up 2 kills, 34% accuracy. He's just been landing rocket after rocket. Oh, and the transition into the rail as well. They're so sublime in the execution. It just looks easy for him with the way he's playing right now, Dan, but it's sickeningly hard, some of the shots he's actually hitting.
I actually feel a bit sorry for Sparty because I don't feel he played particularly bad, but you just look at the stats, it just goes to show you can't be playing at this level and just not hitting your shots. He's got half the damage of Wenger, 23% rail, 20% lightning gun, 17% rocket. Like, as much as Sparty hasn't been hitting, once again, you've got to credit Wenger. Wenger's one of these players who has a second sense in terms of where to position. It's so difficult to pin down. So it's a mixture of Sparty not executing and Wenger just playing particularly well on the defense.
Well, for once, again, it's a position where Sparty actually does get Wenger low and forces him to retreat. He's over towards heavy as well, so he should be able to secure it, but he fully commits for the firefight, baiting out the Ghost Walk and trying to get the predictive burst off with the Tri-Bolt, hoping that one of the shots would connect and at least bait him through, but you can't find him. Wenger, oh no, with the misdirection tactics, he's able to come up for the Mega, and not only the Mega, it's the final frag that takes him to double digits to shut the game down 10-2, and then he commits, but, you know, he's a nice guy. GG's been typed down. He doesn't want 11. He'll let it go that way. That was sick. That last play towards the end there around the Mega was really nicely executed with the Ghost Walk.
It was. I mean, it was precision from start to finish from Wenger. It just felt calculated and that he was in control the entire time. Even when Sparty had that brief period of aggression at the onset of the match, it didn't last very long, and Wenger didn't look fazed by it, really. It was a very slow, calculated approach from Sparty, and ever since Wenger had control, he just suffocated the life out of Sparty. Sparty used to hit more. I think he played well. He had the right idea. I did like the way he was using the Ranger. It was good use of orbs, good use of the rocket jumps as well to make opportunities. Just there was no follow-up, and you're not going to win if you can't execute.
No, especially not when you're up against a competitor like Wenger as well. That as soon as you give an inch right, he just runs away with it. He'll take the whole 9 yards. He'll just keep pushing. He was fueled with confidence as well. We saw some of the peaks coming out where, you know, he was low on stack, but he was willing to just go for those little peaks in to do chip damage, consistently hitting shots with a rail that was softening him up. And when it wasn't the rail, it was the rockets. He just didn't miss a beat.
No, and good use of the Ghost Walk as well. Controlled the mid-ground. He did what he needed to do. He didn't pull out any particularly flashy plays. Didn't need to go too aggressive, didn't need to go too defensive. He just controlled the map and controlled the tempo.
Just locked it down, lives the high life and finds his way coming away with the win there on the first. Ideal stuff, Dan. Going into the second, can we see changes coming out from Sparty? Do you feel like he's just a little bit slow to the burn tonight?
Potentially. He sometimes he feels his way into series and needs to warm up a bit. We've seen that in the past with Sparty. So hopefully he comes into this one with a different mindset. We have also seen Sparty come out completely different. One map really passive, the other map super aggressive. So we need to find that middle ground. I don't want him to flick that switch and just go ham, if you will. But there's no rail, and so that's something he's not going to miss with. It's definitely an easier map to have consistent damage. Maps like this is all about positioning and weapon usage. So it definitely is easier to settle in, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I feel you. It does feel like Heat might be a little bit easier, obviously, coming into it, right? You remove the rail, you remove what was a gigantic asset there for Wenger for the most part, in terms of, even if it wasn't him finishing off frags of it, he was instigating the fights every time. He was doing so much chip damage. There was only 1 or 2 instances where we really saw Spart1e be able to use it for the same strength. So maybe this will be a bit of a blessing rather than obviously a curse coming into Keep. It could let him reset a bit. Do you feel like there's any swing there potentially with the champions coming into this one?
A little bit. The Galena is obviously very strong in combat, and if Spart1e uses those totems well, it's a massive utility for you. But at the end of the day, the Doom is just incredibly strong throughout, and that double jump causes chaos in combat as well. And it's Wenger's favourite pick. So if Spart1e could use the totems well, if he can get that overstack, which is quite difficult on Keep, then he's in a good spot. And it provides a lot of utility. He's also managed to pick up this Mega. I don't know what Wenger was doing there. Really, really greedy. So that's a really good start for Sparty. Both major items.
Oh, there you go. It's the dream scenario for him. He just needs to actually try and capitalize off the back of it. And talking of trying to capitalize, he busts out the tri-bolt, fires out the shots, lands 2 of the 3, and does slow him down a little bit on the reposition back over towards Heavy. Is coming up in 1 second, and he wins the firefight for it. So much damage done. Wenger's stack tremendously low. He's got a backpedal. He should actually get the full rotation of both of these items once again. This is dominant from Spart1e early on. You're gaining control overall in the map, and you're forcing Wenger into an awkward position. You need to capitalize. He's getting him weak, Dan, but he just can't quite finish him off.
Really, really good use of the tri-bolt, but there's no rocket to his name. Will that come back to haunt him as he has this engagement now?
Oh!
What?
Oh, man. That is ridiculous. Wenger. Just none of the items, none of the opportunities, none of the chances, Dan, but 1 of the rockets, and that was all that mattered.
I am at a loss of how that just happened. Wenger must have done nearly 200 damage in that engagement. I was fearing for Spart1e for not picking up the rockets, but Wenger had no right to hit as much as he did from range. And he not only got himself to the board, he's got himself control.
Completely flipped this one on a switch already, and that's the worst case possibility to be in for a player like Spart1e. You were on the Galena, you had control, you've got the full rotations both times, and then all of a sudden Wenger rocks up with a rocket, slaps 1 in the face, shuts you down, doubles it up with a second frag instantly as well, and now he's hungry for a 3rd. He is thirsting for the hat-trick, and the LG will be able to assist him as he comes down and claps his way through Spart1e once again. 3 frags in 2 minutes here on Keep so far, Dan.
I'm not sure if it's a strategy thing or if Wenger's just testing something for the finals, but he's not putting a lot of emphasis on control whatsoever. He's definitely preferring to maintain a strong position and just out-damage Spart1e from these higher ground. But as I say that, he does pick up the full rotation of items and goes very quick into the easiest frag. Spart1e just forfeits that one. And I think his mouse is broken.
It does seem like there might be a bit of an issue there, as he was just completely stopped at that point. Oh, hang on, here we go. He has dropped a bro. Yep, his mouse is gone. You're right.
All right. Must be one of those wireless things that kids are using nowadays. You know?
Yeah, you see, this is why you stick to the cables.
God, man, they called me a boomer, but you know.
Nah, man, I'm all about it. I don't believe in the hype. I know they can be good and they can be, pretty much the same, Dan. But I'm all about those cables at this point. As long as it's wired, I feel safe.
Don't think you've ever seen me sitting in a map, spinning my mouse around, saying it's been disconnected. So unless I've torn it out the wall.
Oh, you've crushed
Just
it.
Crushed
you crushed it with your raw strength.
Yeah, like my towel.
Yeah, to be fair, you did rip a towel in half, so I'm not surprised. I feel like you could just destroy your way through a mouse shell.
Petty humans. We're going to have a restart, I think.
Yeah, I guess we'll probably just get that resolved. Obviously, it's a mouse issue with Sparty's mouse. Can't really be helped at that point. Or it could have been a game issue. He said that he had his cursor pop up in games. You never know. Might have been a little bit of a crash on the client. Probably get that resolved, and then I imagine just restart that one. Wenger's a nice guy. I feel like he's the sort of player that would just go, you know what? Yeah, let's relive it.
Relive it. Is that a phrase?
I mean, it can be, if you want it to be.
I don't know. You used it. I'm quizzing you on your linguistics here.
Yeah, well, you never know. It's like you send a game live, didn't you? So if you relive, that's the restart of a live.
Right. I will let you have a pass on this one. C-. I will say.
Right. Thank you, Dad. What tone would you use?
Restart.
Yeah, to be fair, that probably is the actual official Oxford Dictionary term.
Yeah.
But
that's the one I'm going to roll with, the correct term.
we do things our own way here. We like hard-hitting facts, journalism, and new
Look
words.
at you with your beard and your, what are you doing? Flat white and your...
Hey, there's nothing wrong with a flat white.
Baby peach jumper in 35-degree heat. I can see the sweat glistening on your beard and you're still rocking the jumper.
That's beard oil, man. Right. I feel like this is a targeted attack that's coming out there, and I don't understand why this is happening. I have, this is actually, look, it's a jumper.
I've been without you for 10 weeks. I've just kind of been reserving the ammunition.
Oh, yeah, I know. Well, there's been no one to bully. We normally just bully each other,
true.
But obviously we just haven't been together, so we can't, I can't take it out on anyone else. Occasionally lethal, I suppose. A couple of digs for lethal, but the majority of the punches are for you.
I know. I can take them. Big and squishy, like a bear.
You're like a Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah, that's a good reference. I like that one.
Oh, mate. To be fair, I have already, like obviously when we came into the show and you said, are you naked? Are you not wearing anything?
Yeah.
I have had a couple of tweets already coming through just saying, are you just not wearing a shirt today? And
it's like, rehearsals you weren't, and it looked identical to rehearsal, so...
Well, now you've ruined the magic. Now people know that I just don't wear shirts when we're not live.
I mean, I don't think anyone does.
Good. I should hope so. You're normally there, flexing away. We can see the 18-pack.
I do enjoy a good flex.
Yeah,
I'm open for personal training, by the way, anyone on stream. So
you can reach out to him.
Yeah,
zsx@gmail.com. Oh, mate, it's been far too long. How have we not been together for the past season?
I don't know. Complaints to production. I'm just trying to read chat about what's going on, by the way.
Have you gone in? Have you gone to have a look?
I'm checking. I'm hearing all the buzzing in the background. Wenger says he should buy Logitech.
Maestro sponsor, of course.
Pimping it out right there.
Yeah,
Sparty said he's going to throw his mouse away. He's had too many problems. And he's ready. Okay, there you go. That's the story of the good old chat log.
Oh, all right. Well, I suppose he's just got a new... I don't know. To be fair, everyone seems to just have, that's what I mean. I've got mouse on hands.
I can scandalise whatever brand it is.
Let's see what he says.
Yeah.
You have gone in. You've gone for the journalist approach. You have actually added him as well. You have gone for an @Spart1e.
Wenger said he's using a WMO. I mean, he reckons Sparty's using one. I don't think he is. It's going to be something random.
He's got the classic Intelli Explorer 3.0 just ready.
I used that for so long.
Dude, I'm telling you, it was the best mouse. For a while, like back in the day, that was big. I haven't, but they did re-release it, right?
Yeah, the Pro, yeah. I bought it, but I don't use it.
Is it good, or is it just not
No,
the
it's
same?
good. It's identical.
Oh.
With just a new sensor. So I would recommend I think people like Sturmy and all the old 3.0 lovers still use it. So I would recommend.
Man. Yeah, no, to be fair, like the Intelli Explorer was actually sick. As a mouse, that was big. I used that for ages in Source. And then I went to the Def Adder because it was like it's similar enough in the sense of how the shape velt. And now I just use vengeuR.
Sparty just straight up ignored me.
You have been ghosted by Sparty.
I can't believe I've been ghosted in chat.
Yeah, he has also replied and said he hates you, so 1-0.
That's so sad. He's so lucky there's no Quake COD.
Guys, please, F in the chat for ZSX. This is so sad.
This has been a good start to the day, guys. Ready?
It's easy to say.
To game one. We've already lost our minds.
Oh, yeah. To be fair, this was going to happen inevitably, so it's probably best we got it out of the way sooner rather than later.
I wonder, this might explain why we never get paired together. You know that, right?
Yeah. I think they think we're a bit too boisterous whenever it's me and you. We tend to just derail.
I can be the mature one. I can be the dad. I'll keep us in check.
You are my dad.
Fight.
Okay,
right.
We're back in game.
Here we go. Keep. We're live again. Obviously restarting. Fresh start. Spart1e, he got both of the rotations last time around, and then Wenger just went off on the pain train. Let's see if it'll be different this time. Ooh, a lot of damage done on the initial encounter. Wenger, quite low. Spart1e trying to get out of there, but the rockets are coming through. Ducking and diving behind the statue as he will peek and consistently try and beat him back. But Wenger, he's got to bail out. 10 seconds till heavy's up. He gravitates towards it.
I'm going to ask a logistical question because I didn't see anything from the admin. Like, is this a straight restart, or are we starting on whatever it was, like 3-0?
I don't know. I assume we'll get that confirmed when we find out. But in my mind, I'm just going to assume that this is fresh. Yeah.
Punch the teleporter as Spotty doesn't get anything out of that except a fist to the face. and will retreat to pick up some weaponry. This is definitely what Spart1e needs to be doing more of, is picking the angles, trying to do damage from range, but vengeuR's far too quick for that and chases his opponent down.
Pummeling him into the ground once again. It's the opening frag coming through. Ooh. And Sparty's mouth disconnected? Or, no, he's good.
He's just trying to be sneaky this time. vengeuR was a little bit confused, perhaps thinking what you thought as well.
Because it was like the double take when you look at him and go, this is exactly what happened last time. Is he okay?
He is okay. Is he? Just watching Sparty here. He was just jumping up on the side. I think he was trying to use the very tricky totem placement, but decides against it as he nearly fell into the void. In doing so, he has wasted so much time. He's now got no rocket or lightning gun and will probably be going down here. He's done a little bit of damage to the shotgun through the door, but is still relatively easy frag just before the item. So vengeuR gets a chance to do some damage onto the heavy. Sparty smartly goes up through banana.
All right, well, back to 2-minute mark. Pretty much where we dropped out last time, and vengeuR's now nearly back on the same scoreline. It was 2 minutes with 4 frags before, I believe, so now it's 3 frags in 2 minutes this time. Sparty taking quite a few hits once again. Rockets raining in left, right, and center as he'll be sweating bullets trying to get himself out of there to stay alive. And vengeuR, he can just chill a little bit. You got timing, you got the mega spawn that's just come up, although that's not really going to benefit him. Sparty does an equal amount of damage, strips it off him immediately.
Yeah, that was really good by Sparty. He did nearly 100 damage, taking away the entire stack of what vengeuR had just built up. I would like to see him be more proactive, but we can understand why he's not doing so, because if he didn't have that lightning gun, so has to be wary of any mid-ground engagements. This is why he's sneaking around, but it is very slow, and he's going to miss out on probably even doing any damage on the Mega if vengeuR does back off onto it. He has hurt him, but this is the problem. You get caught in mid-ground, you are going to get destroyed, and here's vengeuR picking it up, speeds back to pick up the heavy. Because of the item timings, there's not enough time for vengeuR to do much. As I say that, appears out of nowhere seemingly and catches Sparty off guard. Great first rocket. Not a good second one.
Oh man, that's rough as well. Finally, at least he will be able to find him. This time, vengeuR can't just get away scot-free from the initial interaction. Sparty playing off the spawn, charges back in, shot is out, trying to serve him up shotgun soup, and eventually the slugs will take him down. But look how low he is.
Gets a good spawn here. He can kill Sparty. He's found him off the spawn as he knows he's not going to commit for the Mega when he's so low. And Sparty, after such a good reclaiming of the scoreline, he messes up that spawn frag dramatically. Got the overstack, so look how healthy he is. Just has no weapons.
Yeah, nothing to actually pack a punch with. Essentially, it's just a matter of him repositioning, trying to go on a bit of a road trip to locate the fresh arsenal, get himself G'd back up and ready for another fight. Contact being found by vengeuR, goes in with the LG, really hitting a nice majority of the tags as well there. A lot of damage coming out, but it doesn't reflect well for him. He's low. Stack's actually getting grinded to a pulp here at this point. He's got to pop it to try and run away, Dan, but will he actually stay alive this time? He's being hunted by Sparty. Comes in close. Good use of the rockets to slow him down. And I think vengeuR might have actually gotten out of it.
It's a much better tempo from Sparty. I like the speed around the map. The Mega's been up for quite a while. I think Sparty must know this, right? Right? Oh. That's painful to watch.
Probably quite painful for him as well. It's not the dream start at all. The rockets are coming back through. Sparty, this point, still down. It's 5-2. We're coming up close towards the 5-minute mark. There's been opportunities, way more here than what we saw in the first map at least, where Sparty could have actually got himself into the game. And again, this is another one of those scenarios. He lands the tags to at least chip vengeuR down quite low on stack, leaving him just with a base health to play with. Lovely rocket as well, 16 HP. He's got to get out of there, just scavenging for lights, trying to keep himself in the game at this point, while Sparty will back off. He beelines straight over towards the heavy, knowing it's the better move to make. Issue is, though, don't lose it. Don't have it broken immediately when you then return to your next altercation.
Sparty's had a lot of control this map, but we're just seeing again the execution when in control has not been particularly good. Good timing on the Mega, though. vengeuR not in position at the right time. Sparty, though, out of weaponry, and that's actually been one of the curses of this game, is his weapon management has been quite poor throughout. Shouldn't really be competing for this heavy without the weapons to do so. Nearly going off the edge. Can you please get some weapons, Sparty?
Get some guns, come back ready with an arsenal and ready to rumble, because right now he's not able to bring the ruckus into any of these encounters. He's only got 4 minutes left to work with as well. Wenger spots him out once again, catches the whiff of him, utilizing the double jump to be able to reposition quicker back to the Mega. And it's not just the matter that he steals the Mega, it's the fact that he makes a monstrous move, slaughtering Sparty once again. Oh, Dan, 6-2. He's just outmaneuvering him.
He is, and it's painful because there's so much good work going into what Sparty's doing, and yeah, once again, it's just not paying dividends because he's just not making the right choices at the right time. Wenger's very early down here, but Sparty's not feeling confident enough to really make a play. And it just feels that Sparty's making the wrong decision at the wrong time. So that was the time when he should have been making a play, when Wenger's on the low ground trying to get some spam off, but instead he was just buying, well, not even buying time, losing time by not making a move, bit of an action. And now the map is slipping away from him as the rockets don't connect. And Wenger can just patrol the mid ground. Oh, that's good though.
Yeah, the three-praise totem prepared for him as he goes through the teleporter, taking an awful lot of damage on his exit. He does respond back with the rocket, of course, and takes down a lot of health from Sparty, but it won't matter. He can build the stat back up as he finds the Mega. They trade the major items one apiece at this point. We are getting closer and closer towards the 8-minute mark, and there could be the next fight coming up relatively soon. They're close together. At this point, he's just on effectively totem duty and looking to try and locate them and take them down. Again, it's the predictive rockets that open up these encounters, though, for Wenger and make it so easy for him. When the shot he gets pulled out, it's going to send Sparty off to sleep school as he'll tuck him off.
And this game is very much done and dusted now as Wenger has complete control. Sparty, unfortunately, is just not doing enough damage, or anywhere near enough damage to Wenger to cause him any sort of problems.
And obviously, you know, we were kind of speculating about maybe if the rail would be the difference maker, if that would allow him to get back into the game a little bit more, but I suppose it doesn't matter because you take the rail out of play, all that's done is made Wenger play much faster off the spawns. He's just been instigating every fight, every time you see Sparty come in, beelines it straight over towards him, spamming him with rockets, then just being able to pummel him with the LG.
Yeah, I think the most worrying thing for me has been, yeah, obviously the execution's not been great, but for this map in particular, it was the choosing of situations. There were times where he should have been playing a bit more passive, picking up items, like particularly when he was chasing Wenger through corridors, around corners when the Mega was up. And there's other times when he should be more aggressive, and he's just standing playing passive and letting Wenger run the map. So, yeah, it feels a little bit like he's a little bit lost.
1 minute warning.
As Wenger did his thing once again. And that's what Wenger does. He makes the game look easy.
He does, mate. It's just cinematic. It's just so easy for him as he coasts through effectively at this point. I mean, it's 12-2. Sparty's just not really shown any vital signs of being able to get back into the game, and it's not ideal. Definitely not ideal. At this point, call it quits, really. You know, you've got to look towards the future in the third map to see if maybe Sparty will be able to deny some points in the series, but it's not looking likely. Wenger's just having a field day with it, Dan.
Yeah, and we've got the Visor against the Strog on the next map, which is decently hard matchup for the Visor. Sorry, and the Visor is most effective when you're hitting the rails because obviously you can use their piercing sight to maximize damage. And that wasn't what Sparty was doing on map 1. So unless there's a dramatic 360, not even a 360, a 180 in the way he's playing, should I say?
Oh, he just turns around and faces himself again.
But it's not looking good going into map 3.
Oh, mate. No, that was rough. You know, obviously, it's the fact that it happened twice as well. You know, there was the second opportunity that came out there for Sparty, really, in terms of the restart coming through, the relive, if you will. But it didn't help. 15-3 in the end. Wenger just annihilates him, just absolutely takes him to the shops there and doesn't buy him anything nice.
That's not very kind, is it?
It's not. I mean, that would be a bit of a tease, really, wouldn't it? If someone was like, oh, do you want to come shopping with me? And they just bought you nothing.
Kind of like your shirt.
This is just a low blow. All right, I'll change. I'll tell you what, I'll change at the end of the series.
I do like it, but back to the series. I don't know what Sparty can do, if I'm honest. It just looks like he's being outclassed today.
Yeah.
I felt, like we said, I felt map 1, he played strategically decently with poor execution. Map 2 was just on both sides not ideal, whereas Wenger hasn't looked like he's been pushed into 3rd gear, let alone 5th gear. So when that's the case, it's very difficult. I would like to see Sparty keep this map close at least.
Yeah.
Using the visor, we can do that pretty well. But I'm interested to see how Wenger uses the Stroke and Peak. I like to see Wenger play quite aggressive.
Well, there's definitely a little bit more wiggle room for it, right? In terms of the champion picks and the map choice that we've got to play with here, there is an opportunity. Issue is, I feel like there's also an opportunity in a timeline here where obviously you get Wenger coming out on a Strog and Pika. He just takes every possible firefight. He's sliding around corners, dropping sick rails over and over again, and that's it. That'll just be the course of the game.
And yeah, Visor has a decent stack, but he's not particularly fast, has zero maneuverability. And as you say, when you've got the Strong and Pika just charging at you, for me at this point in time, the way that the meta's evolving, Strong and Pika is really one of the top picks. You can begin to struggle. Obviously, if you're in control and you're playing positionally perfect, then the piercing sight plays a really crucial role in you being able to take the lead and manipulate your opponent. But the way we've seen Spart1e been playing, if you're using it more as a defensive tool, then you're just on the run the entire map, and that's kind of just chasing the inevitable, really. You're going to end up just losing. So you have to play quite an aggressive style, I think, to make the most of Visor.
Yeah. And obviously, that's not really what we were seeing throughout both of the maps. It was way more sluggish in terms of the encounters he was willing to go for. It was a little bit better on Molten, I must say. Sorry, not on Molten, obviously on Keep. He was willing to take a couple more fights here and there, but you need to change that. You need to really develop that further coming into it here. It's the last map in the series. It is Molten. We've had some really spicy Molten games. The map has been getting better and better to watch over the course of the Quake Pro League, Dan, so I'm excited for this one to round out the series.
Absolutely, it is a fun map to watch, and we usually see something interesting coming out of it. Interesting use of the Pika, Spart1e missing 2 relatively easy rails against a non-moving target, so that's not the best start. Wenger gets off a lot of damage, which he really shouldn't have done. A little bit late for the Mega. No, doesn't know where the visor is, but he is delaying it as well. That's a good rail. That's not the best follow-up, though, as Wenger is prepared for a second bounce. And there's lots of time for the heavy to get set up as well.
Rail's just not landing. The rockets will, though. Unfortunately, it's more damage being transferred on towards Spart1e. He's dropped down low. He has to back off and just barely build himself back to a manageable stack. He can wait and lurk towards the Mega, but he's going to be contested for it. He does hit a pivotal rocket. That might have actually saved him here into the encounter, but he needs to deal with a Pika. He misses with a rocket, has to transition to the rail, and that's the difference between life and death. He falls, Wenger swoops in to snatch up the Mega, and that's where the first frag will come from.
Yeah, great use of the Pika to zone Spart1e. As soon as that rail came out and he used it, Wenger knew he had a split second to get in on top of that Mega. Spart1e did hit the follow-up rail, but it just wasn't enough damage. Nice damage from Spart1e, but once again, Wenger is far too stacked up to pick up that heavy. And we're already seeing the issues with the visor is that Spart1e's being caught out, and this is a great way to use the visor. There's rails, play plus back, but seeing Spart1e getting caught out by the speed around the corners, he's just not ready for Wenger coming in these engagements and getting caught off guard. Yes, he's doing some decent damage, but once again, it's always before these item pickups. So the initiative is all on the front foot for Wenger.
Sends in the Pika once again, looking to try and punish with it. Not really getting enough damage out. Went for the kamikaze, and he's just being toyed with. He actually fumbles it and can't quite smash it into him to slow down Spart1e, giving him time to get away with the added benefits off the back of it. He'll still have that larger stack to pay with after stealing the Mega, and now they need to fight. in terms of who will actually be able to stay alive and get themselves the heavy. Wenger, the fade array rounds not landing. You conceded the heavy over, and Spart1e is looking to give it here, Dan. He wants to leap in. He's nearly gone over the edge, and eventually his corpse will. And Spart1e will stay alive with about 20 stack combined and the finishing rail to get himself his first frag.
Wenger did get the perfect spawn to pressure that pickup as well, but not able to do enough. Good use of the piercing sight just to get away unscathed. Spart1e though, only with a rail to his name, he really can't commit here for the heavy. He has to get back and pick up the weapons because we've seen what happens when he doesn't have them. And you have to be prepared for the pace of the Strogs, so it is paramount to get those in your arsenal. There's good time before the piercing sight as well, so have to use this audio cues well. Unfortunate to not hit that rail. It was a good drop, and Wenger realizing that his opponent is falling off the map. Let's keep the pressure on.
Obviously,
that's what Wenger seems to do really well. Is just understand when he can push in aggressive as well.
Yeah, he just knows when to capitalize. When the chips are down, obviously he should roll in and roll up. He goes for it, takes him off the edge, sends him down on the ring out. Ooh. In terms of the damage being found into these firefights as well, it's not only the damage, it's the fact that he gets it and gets away with a heavy, then can go straight back over towards the mega. You got 5 seconds. Spart1e spawned in, sure, but he's not really going to be able to contest for this. He can try and make a bit of a move, but by the time he gets there, it's picked up. Wenger, if he finishes off this frag, this has worked out perfectly. He's still got a pretty good stack off the back of it. He can get those lights to rebuild his armor.
But Spart1e is still on the back foot, and he's the one without the lead as well, so it's not looking good. Has the piercing sight up, but he does hit the pickup, which is great. Can use the piercing sight to hit the opening rocket, but unfortunately this Wenger's just way too quick. And another smart use of the peeker as well to finish off Spart1e with an easy frag. Incredibly healthy, Mega's up. It really is Wenger's day at the moment. And he's taking both lights away.
Yeah, it's the fact as well, obviously, you know, at this point we're coming up close towards the 5-minute mark. It's just not really giving them any edge to play with. Sparty's just consistently being pummeled in every one of these encounters. At least here, oh, he gets the item to play with and tries to push off the back of it, but the flick shot comes out from Wenger. His mouse is clearly not broken, Dan, as he lands that one. Oh! Oh, man, these rails, they're coming so close, but they're just not... Wait, what? Hello? How did he kill himself?
Oh no, it's all going to pieces.
Oh mate, I'm so stumped, Dan.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening at the moment. I think Spart1e must have just killed himself in frustration and he's missing some easy rails. Hits an opening round, but Wenger's incredibly healthy. There is some coup stackers. Can he kill Yes, he can kill him this time. And he picks up the Mega to boot. So pressure onto the rail. That's where Wenger's first pot call would be. We get some defense for Wenger, as Spart1e's in a perfect position to just make a heavy for free.
So Spart1e, you've got your items, you've got guns, you've got room to play with, but does he have the positional advantage? Goes round the corner. First rocket comes out, response goes in as well as the rails are landing. They're both locked into rail combat here, but they're not hitting their shots and they decide against it. Wenger will scarper, head back over, they'll look to set his focus on the heavy. In the meantime, Spart1e will pick up the Mega and they'll build their stacks back up. It's a difference of 6 frags in the next 4 minutes. That's what will have to come in here to change the course of the game. He will get both of the items, Dan. Does this set him up? Is there an opportunity?
There is, but this is... Much as Spart1e has complete control, Wenger's in a very healthy position. This is how he likes to play. He's done some good damage there, but Spart1e did return well. And is much healthier now. He's picked up that Mega, but does rocket jump straight into death as there is a spicy Wenger with the lightning gun waiting for him up that rocket jump. And all that work for null. And Wenger's one of these people that doesn't generally put a lot of pressure onto items when he's out of control. He just gets himself a stat, makes sure he doesn't take any damage, and then sets up in really strong defensive positions and waits for his opponent to overstep their mark. And that's exactly what Spart1e did.
Spart1e, so low. Wenger low on ammunition for his rockets, but other than that, he's going to be living the high life and living his movie into the series so far, because it seems like it's almost guaranteed at this point, Dan, that he should pick up the win here on Molten and then go through with the majority of the points in the series, using the Pika to just bombard Spart1e down as well. Shot after shot, annihilating him with the rounds, and then straight back in, looking for more. Ooh, the rocket round the corner actually lands as well. Oh my god, he's lucky to be alive as he'll actually get out of it. All right, well, Sparty comes through. He gets the rail off at the end there. We'll be able to at least put him down, but it's a matter of a 9-2 split on the scoreline. You've got 2 minutes. It's not been looking good. There's been a fair few mispays coming through, but all of a sudden, he has flipped the switch a little bit. He is hitting his shots.
Consolation frags at best, unfortunately, though, as the game is well out of reach for Sparty with 6 frags in it. Only a minute and a half to go.
Yeah, it's not the dream, mate. It's not ideal for him. Ooh.
That's nice.
Yeah, that was way better. Nice connections there with the rail, one after another. Hits both of the clean shots and does tuck him into bed once again. Looking for a little bit more with the LG. Have the better stack going into this fight. Pika's baited out and he will get the kill. Actually, you know what? We were saying consolation frags. Now look at it. You're only 4 frags away. You've got 60 seconds to try and do it. Chaining them together would be incredibly hard, and unfortunately, that is the end of it. That's the final bell being rung there. There would have been a chance, but it would have been hard fought. In the end, that's Wenger securing the bread and showing that he has won this one. Chains the rockets together with a quick flick on the end there. Lovely rocket to rail transition, and Wenger walking this one all the way to the back.
Yeah, Wenger puts a stop to any potential comeback. He says enough is enough.
Look at the flick shots he's going for. He's just freestyling.
One of the issues for me is that Sparty's game is very, very aim dependent. And not only did he come up against one of the best aimers in the world, Sparty just didn't have his best day at the office when it came to the good old aiming department. So those 2 ingredients did make for a very messy series from a Sparty perspective. It started very positively, and I was encouraged by his the first few minutes on Blood Covenant, but it was more or less a downhill slope from there on out.
Yeah, it got rough. Obviously, you know, issues aside as well, you had the drop out with the mouse, right? So you don't know, in terms of his mentality, if he's woke up on the wrong side of the bed today, Dan, then you've had that happen into that second map in the series, you might get a bit down in the dumps. It might be hard to spring back into it. And it felt like clearly there was some kind of mental aspect that's come into play, especially on Molten towards the end. I would like to be able to go back and obviously see what happened with the suicide, but I don't know if it was intentional or if it was just a mistake play, but it seemed like it had to have been, right? Because obviously he missed those couple of rails that he should have hit. Don't know if it was frustration, but that was really the big turning point.
I mean, it was a suicide. The only way it could have happened if he shot the floor. So unless his mouse span out again, he definitely did it on purpose. I think the story of that series is that it was a clash of styles.
Yeah.
And particularly halfway through Corrupted Keep, it looked like Spotty was a little bit lost with what he should be doing. And I think that was partly down to the fact that Wenger's style very much nullified Sparty's, in that Sparty wants to play in your face and he likes to hit his shots. He wasn't really hitting shots, and every time he tried to go aggressive onto Wenger, he was just eating rockets. And so it felt like, what do I do in this situation? He couldn't play the way he wanted to. He was getting shut down in the mid-range, and so he looked a little bit disorientated. And so it's credit to Wenger, really, but Sparty definitely needs to reflect on how he can then go forward from this, because if he's not hitting his shots, he just needs to adjust. And he wasn't able to do that.
Yeah, just need to take a look at it, obviously see what you can do going forward. But that is the end of our opening series of the night. That one is locked down in the end. Wenger walks away with the full points for it, the full 3-0 there up against Sparty. Now, before today, we did actually get Freya to go and conduct an interview with Wenger as well. So why don't we have a look at that before we come back in with our next game of the day.